Although the concept of sustainability dates back at least to the 18th century, it was popularized later on, particularly in the context of the report Our Common Future, known as the Brundtland Report, published in 1987 by the United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development. This report defines sustainable development as a mode of development that meets the needs of the present generations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This definition sharply raises the issue of intergenerational equity, or in other words, prompts us to consider what we ought to leave for future generations. To determine this, it is necessary to use sustainability criteria, which state that future generations must benefit from at least the same advantages as current generations. Therefore, it is essential to define what sustainability is. In this regard, two approaches coexist. Before specifying these definitions, it should be noted that resources, which can be considered as capital, can take different forms. Natural resources constitute natural capital, whereas infrastructure represents physical capital. We can also mention financial or human capital. The first form of sustainability is called weak sustainability. It considers that the different types of capital can compensate for each other. John Hartwig proposed that the rents derived from natural resources should be converted into physical or even human capital. In this approach, sustainability is assessed by the ability to maintain the value of total capital without the need to preserve natural capital. In other words, being sustainable means being able to ensure that future generations enjoy at least the same level of economic well-being as the current generation, even if natural capital is completely depleted. The example of the island of Nauru illustrates this approach. This island, rich in phosphate, exploited this resource through a trust fund that finances imported goods. It is clear that this solution would not be viable if every country did the same. It may not even be viable for Nauru itself, which is now facing the depletion of its phosphate resources. In contrast, strong sustainability prioritizes the conservation of natural resources. The different forms of capital cannot substitute for one another. To be sustainable, it is essential to maintain the level of natural capital. The difference between weak and strong sustainability has consequences for businesses. Weak sustainability favors progress, especially technological progress, and conveys the idea of unlimited growth. In contrast, strong sustainability encourages companies to consider their activities in line with the legacy of the Club of Rome.